It's a feast has begun. The first month is in Abib, day 15 you ought to start. 7 days of Matzot, Matzot you shall to have. The first month is in Abib, day 15 you ought to start. 7 days of Matzot, Matzot you shall to have. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. It's a feast has begun. All that yeast is from Egypt that Yeshua had removed. We are living without sin in obedience to Adonai. All that yeast is from Egypt that Yeshua had removed. We are living without sin in obedience to Adonai. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. It's a feast has begun. From the 15th of Abib, 7 days without yeast. Matzot you shall to eat, without sin you shall to live. From the 15th of Abib, 7 days without yeast. Matzot you shall to eat, without sin you shall to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast, Matzot.
Shalom, little friends. Let's start the greetings. Shalom to Susana and Alberto, Margarita, Ledesma, Mari Morquecho, and Jonah and Angelus, Mari Perdomo, and let's start. Shalom, little friends. Chag Sameach Matzot, Day 5. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 6, the Eternal said that in the 15th day of the month we must celebrate the holy convocation of the unleavened bread. During 7 days we have to eat on the meal time unleavened bread. The first day is holy convocation of rest, no labor on that day. So far 4 days have passed already, and this is the 5th day of unleavened bread. We have learned that in our life we have to keep removing out of our life all those things that keep us from serving the Eternal correctly. Also, Yeshua said to the disciples to be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Now that means for us not to learn the doctrines of the world, but learn the instruction of the Eternal. Let's keep studying the Torah, so the more we study, the more we learn, and live a life clean of the worldly things. Let's keep it up. Talmidei of Yeshua. Today we will be presenting our video for day 5. Remember to have your coloring pencils and paper ready. Pay close attention, little friends. Shalom.
Shalom Talmidei of Yeshua, our Messiah.
Hag Sameach Matzot, on the 5th day of Matzot, on the 19th of Aviv. The feast of Matzot is one of great joy.
That's right. Thanks to the Eternal Father, the holidays in Matzot are special, where we serve, eat unleavened bread, and dance very happily. But I want to ask you a question, Sharon.
Question? Yossi, you didn't tell me there was going to be an exam.
Don't worry, it's not an exam. It's for us to reflect with our little friends, and that way we can learn the instruction better.
Well, I'm ready for your question, Yossi.
The emissaries tell us.
So, an emissary of Yeshua, a great Talmidim, said in the first letter to the Corinthians chapter 5 verse 6, "Your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little yeast leavens the whole lump?"
The question is, how do young believers in Yeshua leaven? Meaning, what activities or attitude lead them to live like bread with yeast? That is, in sin, moving away from holiness, becoming friends with the world.
Yossi, in the Egypt of biblical times, when the Hebrews were slaves, yeast was used to inflate the dough and make their loaves look bigger and more beautiful. But when they leave in a hurry, they no longer have time to leaven their loaves, so they make them without yeast. This in order to abandon those customs of Egypt, because they would be free at last after being slaves for so long. And we, now in the modern Egypt, also have many customs that the Eternal commands us not to do anymore if we have really been free from this slavery to serve only Him. I think that what leavens young believers in this modern Egypt is pagan parties, music that is not made to sing to the Eternal and exalt Him, religions, video games, the internet, the school where they teach without fear to the Eternal, bad company, and more.
What an excellent response, Sharon. Many believers think that they can practice this and that nothing will happen in their spiritual life. But that is why Shaul exhorts us. Don't you know that a little yeast leavens the whole dough?
The yeast is tremendous, Yossi. One day I went over what a recipe asked for, and my dough inflated up so much that my kitchen was in chaos. But one day I put a little bit in my flour, and I thought nothing would happen. And what do you think?
What happened, Sharon?
All my dough was leavened.
That's right. That's why as children who believe in Yeshua, we must be careful not to allow even a little yeast from modern Egypt in our lives. Otherwise, as the days go by, we will move away from the instruction and from the fear of the Eternal, and that will result in many afflictions when we are older.
Yes, Yossi,
I like to use the internet to listen to teachings of the parables of the kingdom in Spanish. I really like to sing Hallel of the Holy Appointments, and I also study the instructions of the kingdom in Spanish. But I do not get distracted by the profane that does not edify me. That is to waste time and leaven. Otherwise, I will only talk about the world and I will not know about the Torah.
Very good example. We must be wise when choosing what we see, hear, and do, all with the lens of the Torah. If it blesses us and is approved by the instruction, then yes, but if it's pagan, it keeps us from studying the Torah and makes us change our good behavior, we say no, and we move away from those practices. Reflection of Matzot, Day 5.
In the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7 to 8, he says, "Cleanse the old yeast, so that you may be new dough as you are without yeast, because the Messiah, our Pesach, has already been sacrificed."
So let us continue celebrating the solemnity, not with the old leaven, nor with the leaven of malice and weakness, but with the unleavened, sincerely and true.
Let's cleanse ourselves of all yeast day by day, and let's continue celebrating Matzot as unleavened bread in sincerity and truth before the Eternal and men.
Yes, Yossi, just as we cleanse our house of all leaven as the feast of Matzot approaches, let us also cleanse our lives of all leaven.
It's a feast has begun. The first month is in Abib, day 15 you ought to start. 7 days of Hamatzot you shall to have. The first month is in Abib, day 15 you ought to start. 7 days of Hamatzot you shall to have. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. It's the feast has begun. All that yeast is from Egypt that Yeshua had removed. We are living without sin in obedience to Adonai. All that yeast is from Egypt that Yeshua had removed. We are living without sin in obedience to Adonai. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. It's a feast has begun. From the 15th of Abib, 7 days without yeast. Hamatzot you shall to eat, without sin you shall to live. From the 15th of Abib, 7 days without yeast. Hamatzot you shall to eat, without sin you shall to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast you must to live. Without yeast, without yeast, without yeast, Matzot.
In the next teaching, Matzot Day 6, 20th of Aviv. Little friends, see you at the next teaching on the 6th day of Matzot. Shalom!
Little friends, remember to visit the webpage of Cielos Nuevos y Tierra Nueva in the section de Niños, www.cielosnuevosytierranueva.org, and download all of our free material. We have a WhatsApp and Telegram number, +52 33 28 24 91 85, where you can send us your photos and videos when you solve this activity of identify what can leaven us and how we can take care of ourselves so we don't get leavened. You can also reach out to us on Facebook at Cielos Nuevos Niños. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Cielos Nuevos Niños. And let's continue learning about the Eternal's instruction.